What is up, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer and Tyler Horka here with a post-Marcus Freeman Thursday video update. Good bit of stuff to discuss from what the Irish head coach had to say. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you have not yet. It's crazy if that is the case. Make sure you go ahead and do that and head over to blueandgold.com. $1, that deal's still going on, $1 for 1 year of premium access. So, Tyler, one of the big storylines here in the past 2-3 weeks is the health of Jarrett Patterson, a mainstay of this Notre Dame offensive line for the past couple years. A big leader on this team and offensive line. Marcus Freeman gave a positive update on him today.
Yeah, it's the first positive update, or really the first different update that we've heard from Marcus Freeman on Jarrett Patterson in those 2 to 3 weeks that you've mentioned. He's gone from questionable to not just probable, expected to play. Those are Marcus Freeman's exact words. So Jarrett Patterson, like you said, fifth-year senior, team captain, a 3-year starter at center, a guy that a lot of people on this team really respect, a high-level player. And you watched that Notre Dame Ohio State game this past weekend. Notre Dame needs high-level players along the offensive line right now. He might be your best. I know Joe Alt, Blake Fisher, those are guys that Marcus Freeman mentioned today. They're trending toward that, but they've got 3 years to go until they get to where Jarrett Patterson is, 3-4 years. So right now, I think Jarrett Patterson might be Notre Dame's best offensive lineman. He's expected to play. I don't care who you're playing. That's huge news. I don't care if it's Marshall, Ohio State, whoever it is, Jarrett Patterson playing is big news for the Fighting Irish.
So just a moment ago, played the video that you took of him warming up against Ohio State. Just real quick, Tyler, you thought that he looked hobbled, but not too far off from playing?
Yeah, just the fact that he was out there was huge. I think I didn't even expect him to suit up and go out there. So that was big. He did look like he was favoring it a little bit. And what do you know? He didn't end up playing. So that would lead me to say that he was favoring it. But those types of things, once you get on the back end, it could be like, man, it's still kind of feeling the same way it has for the last 2 weeks. He must have woke up one of these days and said, I think it's ready. I think I could put everything that I need to on that foot. Marcus Freeman said he's had an excellent week of practice. And so at this point, like I said, not just probable, expected to play on Saturday.
So on Sunday, Blue and Gold's Patrick Angle put out an article with data on Notre Dame's snap counts, and I wanted to pop this on the screen. So let's take a look at the receiver position. You had Lindsey had 43 snaps. Salerno was a surprise with 8 snaps and a couple of targets. Joe Wilkins just 1 snap. Seems like he's coming back from the injury, kind of being eased in. And then at the bottom of your screen, you see Lorenzo Styles at 36 snaps, Jaden Thomas 30. So we talked about Tobias Merriweather, Tyler, I believe, in Monday's video. Today, Freeman was asked about Wilkins and Deion Colzie. So what did Freeman have to say on those two guys?
Yeah, their status had kind of been up in the air. We talked a lot about them in fall camp. Wilkins coming back from the foot fracture, suffered in March. Colzie sprained his knee during camp, so that's a more recent injury. It sounds like Wilkins is a little bit closer than Colzie maybe, and we saw that in practice where it's kind of weird. In fall camp practices when I was out there, I was like, Joe Wilkins looked like he could go out there and get 5 catches tomorrow, but it's really kind of like with Patterson in the foot injury thing is a guy may feel like he's ready to go, but as soon as you get out there, it feels different. But it looks like he's been comfortable. I think he's close. Marcus Freeman said he's getting there. He looks good in practice, but he's just not at a point where he can comfortably go out there and face opposition and really plant that foot and try to make catches. With Deion Colzie, Marcus Freeman's exact words are he's not really 100%, and he's not at a point where he can go out there and comfortably play the wide receiver position with that knee. Anytime you're dealing with a lower extremity injury like Wilkins is, like Colzie is, you have to be 100% sure that these guys aren't going to aggravate that injury, re-injure it, set the timeline back further. Deion Colzie is a guy that Notre Dame could probably use. Joe Wilkins is a guy that Notre Dame could probably use. So you want them to be healthy. You don't want them to further aggravate those injuries. You saw the snap counts right there. Lorenzo Styles played a whole lot. Jaden Thomas played a whole lot. Braden Lindsey played a whole lot. I think you see the same thing against Marshall, and I think you see it more effectively as well. I think all 3 of those guys come away with multiple catches against Marshall. So you're probably at a point where you don't need to put Joe Wilkins out there if he's not 100%. You don't need to put Jaden Thomas out there you don't need to put Deion Colzie out there if he's not 100%. And then we talk about Tobias Merriweather. If it comes to a point where Notre Dame is blowing these guys out, I think you see Merriweather before you see the two guys that we just tarped on.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting when you got Wilkins and Colsey back to 100% and Tobias Merriweather up to speed. Does that affect Jaden Thomas snap counts? Does that, rule out or not rule out, but does that take Matt Salerno out of the equation? That's going to be something that'll be interesting to track moving forward. So the game plan for Notre Dame offensively against Ohio State, Freeman was very open about it afterwards, was to control the clock and slow the game down, keep Ohio State off the field, something that you might expect from a defensive head coach, right? Wanting to be conservative. But against Marshall, that is not going to be the case.
I think you're going to see a totally different Notre Dame offense. You are going to see the Notre Dame offense, what Notre Dame wants to be throughout the rest of the season. I think Notre Dame went into the season opener with so much time to prepare for one opponent that they were able to say, we're going to not completely change who we want to be, but we're going to be able to dictate our game plan based on what we need to do against those guys. The number 2 team in the country, the team that had the number 1 offense, undisputed number 1 offense in the nation in 2021, Notre Dame was able to go into that game and say, this is what we have to do to win. And it was run the ball, control the clock, not put the offense into precarious situations where it could lead to turnovers or it could lead to situations where you're setting CJ Stroud up in an advantageous situation where he only has to take advantage of half a field to score a touchdown. You didn't see that. Ohio State earned its points against Notre Dame in that game, driving, 95 yards one time. I think they had over a 70-yard drive on another touchdown drive. So Ohio State earned it, and I think that's why you saw the score that you did, 21-10. Now, if you're Notre Dame, you don't like those 10 points. You're obviously going to need to score more than 10 points in any college football game to win, especially against Ohio State. You're going to need more than 10 points to beat Marshall, probably, unless somehow you hold them to 3 or 7 points. So all that said, you're going to see Tyler Buchner air it out a little bit. I think you're going to see Notre Dame try to open up the offense, get some big plays. I mentioned it on the blueandgold.com message board earlier this week. I saw reverses run in practice time and time again. How many times did we see Notre Dame wide receivers set into motion, but all they were was a decoy, so Audric Estime could go up the middle and get stuffed for 2 yards? I think you're going to see the ball in playmakers' hands out wide, and it's going to lead to a little north-south action, and Notre Dame is going to be a pretty good offensive team this Saturday.
Shout out to Mike Berardino over at the South Bend Trib for asking a question to Marcus Freeman that Freeman didn't even know about. A very neat notes, again, that Freeman didn't know about.
Yeah, this is the first time that 2 black head coaches have ever gone head-to-head inside Notre Dame Stadium. Now, you look at it and you say, it might not be that surprising given that Tyrone Willingham and Marcus Freeman are the only 2 black head coaches ever. But like you said, Marcus Freeman didn't know about it. Hand up, I'm a reporter. I didn't know about it. That's an awesome storyline going into this game. And Marcus Freeman had awesome words to say about it as well. He said, it doesn't matter what your skin color is. If you work really hard in this profession, as Charles Huff, Marshall's head coach, has, and as Marcus Freeman has, obviously, he's the head coach of Notre Dame football at 36 years old. He's earned that in the decade or so that he's been in the college coaching ranks. Both of these guys have earned these positions, and it's kind of cool that they get to take the field at one of the most hallowed grounds in college football, probably the place. If you think of college football history, it's that stadium that's in South Bend, and you have 2 black head coaches going head-to-head for the first time. Like you said, very cool question and very cool of Marcus Freeman to, 1, not know about it, and then 2, have awesome words to say about it.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for this Thursday update. Make sure you lock in our Blue and Gold YouTube channel for more content coming up this week to preview the game. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, head to blueandgold.com for more written coverage of the game. And as always, we'll catch you guys next time.